Welcome to part 2 of an exploration of my Art Spiegelman shelf. One of Art's more recent projects is one you may not have heard of. It's this huge, great big book. This is pretty much mostly what Art did in terms of original creativity during the pandemic. It's this little book put out by a company that makes little books. All their books are tiny. I'll tell you the name of the publisher in a minute. As you can see, there's a kind of like wax paper cover on the book. So let's take a look at this Street Cop. It's basically a short story by the great Robert Coover. There we go. People got shot and died like they always did, but not always in that order. It gives you a sense of the surreal screwball, in a way, world of this story, with drawings by Art Spiegelman. And I don't know if you recognize that face, but that's basically Sluggo from Ernie Bushmiller's comic Nancy. And this was a gift from the author, and that's the publisher. So it was a gift from the author and the publisher, Isolarii. You should check them out. They have a website, and you can buy this book there. And this is kind of neat. This is interesting to me because Art said publicly he's not a big fan of Jack Kirby's art. But this looks a lot like something you'd see out of the pages of a late 1960s Fantastic Four comic. I'm sure that's on purpose. But also, look what's happening here. You recognize that? That's the COVID virus right there. So as usual, Art's kind of putting a lot of different stuff in here. There's a Coke bottle. I won't go through the whole thing, but it's not only, illustrated by Art, but I think he's kind of had something to say about the design, like creating those the art at the beginning of each section. Really cool stuff. There's an homage to Little Nemo. So this is a case where Art is weaving in iconic comics, as well as telling the story, illustrating the story. So the illustrations are working on multiple layers, as you would expect from an Art Spiegelman project. Recognize that? That's either the Vault Keeper or the Crypt Keeper from EC Comics. Either the Vault of Horror host or the Crypt of Terror host. I don't remember which one. Yeah, and there goes Sluggo. And you know who that guy is, right? Dagwood Bumstead from Blondie. These perfectly support the story. They give it depth. Greater depth, I should say, because it's a really cool story to begin with. Okay, so that's Street Cop, but wait, there's more. You also get a free set of steak knives and this book right here. Let's take a look at this one. Street Cop Uncovered. Now this was not published in the United States. I forget where this was published, possibly France or maybe Italy. To those aiming at dodging a path that for many seems inevitable, those who are trying to relinquish a prefabricated fate, with no room for individuality, irony is an essential door to life. It is precisely this abundance of conventional thinkers that creates a need and a scope for Art Spiegelman's opus, the hope for a surprise ending. Street Cop Uncovered collects sketches and studies for the drawings that have graced Robert Coover's novelette. Spiegelman's first new book of drawings in 10 years. Hardly anyone has seen any of the studies and sketches in this book, including me. That's Art Spiegelman's own promise to the reader. So this is really cool because it shows you his process for developing. There's an early version of the Street Cop. This is an artist who refines. You know, I once wrote a sprawling review of a book, a collection of art stuff called Comics. It's up there on the shelf. And Art advised me to think about improving my writing by refining it. Refine, 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 he said. And he was so right. And this is what he does. By the way, I had to point this out. I couldn't find this spread in the book right away. But this is from the book. And there's the little hitchhiker from Gene Ahern's The Squirrel Cage. Isn't that great? There's Betty Boop. And yeah, there's Nancy. So anyway, Art draws and redraws and develops. Look at that. Just for that one image, it's been worked and reworked and reworked and reworked. It's an intense process, very laborious. But what you get, it's a distillation, right? It goes through this whole alchemical process of transmutation, and Art's putting so much in. Not like visual details, but what am I trying to say? It's not... This has the quality of Mad Comics in that there are an abundance of visual details, but beyond that, they are selective, they're curated, they're refined. He's not forgetting about the overall picture composition and impact. The whole thing is just fantastic. And this is an amazing book. I have no idea how you can get it. I got this from the author, which is quite a treasure. And also, there's one more piece on the shelf related to Street Cop. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. This is put out by, I believe, a gallery that had an exhibit of the art. And this was, this was in France, Galerie Martel. Let's see what this is. Tricky to do this with one hand. There we go. And then inside here it's a portfolio of prints, signed and numbered. And the prints are cool because they have overlays. I'll show you. I'll take one out and show you. So this reminds me a lot of what we read about when Harvey Kurtzman did Little Annie Fanny. And of course, Art studied with Kurtzman and was a colleague of his at the Visual Arts School. Yeah. So there you go. There's several in here. Let's see if I can get to the next one without... How many are in here? I'll tell you that in case you happen to find one of these online and you're wanting to grab it. Okay, I guess it goes like this. Sorry, I'm doing terrible camera work here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's the little hitchhiker guy. And hey, look, there's little Annie Fanny, little Orphan Annie. Kind of a combination of little Orphan Annie and little Annie Fanny. And I'm not sure what's going on with Mutt and Jeff here, but it's pretty damn funny. Oh man, isn't that great? Hey, there's Skeeter Grant, maybe. Anyway, a very cool piece, and all together a very rich assortment of work. If you were wondering what Art Spiegelman was working on during the height of the pandemic, then now you know. And you know, he sort of jokes about he worked so long and all he has was this tiny little book, but as you can see, there's actually a wealth of art, and it works on many levels, both illustrative and just as standalone art, as comics history. I mean, this stuff is really great.